but we're live, so
Live.
I'm gonna.
My live glasses are on now.
Shit.
I did pick up 2 games of social distancing today.
Lucky.
I'm gonna have to go. Are we actually on?
Yes, I got a beep.
Okay. I did not hit save. What a dumbass. Well,
Yes, I got a beep.
sorry about that. Okay. See, I have a little trimming to do back here. It's okay. I'll figure it out. It's hard to see the back of your head when you're cutting your own hair.
What's that like? Do you involve mirrors or magic?
No, I just feel
around.
Yeah, but now that I see it in the video, I can go back and cut it a little bit. I could spike it, and then it would look okay. It's covering up the spot that's going bald.
Hey, you gotta get Keeps. Keeps is awesome.
Are we?
Bald guys.
I gotta break out the chat. Hey, Mr. Peabody, what's up, dude?
What's up, Mr. Peabody?
Well, how you doing? It's good to see you in the chat.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you in the chat.
Billy 7.
Where's the pop-out chat? There we go. Boom. Now I can see all y'all. What's up? I need another monitor, like right here where my mic is. I should.
Billy 7 asked if he could have one of my white balls.
That's uncalled for.
Wow. That's amazing.
They're the smaller ones, not the big ones.
Again.
Oh crap, Mark! Did you put the link to the songs? Because I did not find them.
I'll let me double check that just a second.
Is it on the pagey page? Oh, here.
Oh my gosh.
The samples are here. Okay, thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Mark, I just saw your note for what you've been working on.
Yes.
Huge shout out to the guy that you send your stuff off to, because he is awesome.
Ken at I Repair Sega.
Oh, I love Ken.
He very nice guy, very very good communication in the emails, and yeah, I did see. He agreed to work on my Holocene because it has an audio problem, and it's funny. He's like, oh, it's probably this one surface-mounted giant CPU thing, and I'm like, so I sent it even faster. But I did say, hey, can you also fix my Moonwalker? And he was like, no. But that's okay. He said when he worked at Sega, he actually would make lower techs work on System 32 PCBs, which is fine.
Nice. It's like the intern job.
Yeah, if anybody in chat wants to buy a completely broken Moonwalker PCB, make me an offer.
What's wrong with it?
Won't boot up. It's dead. I already did the resurrection kit. Didn't help. There were some there were some caps broken off on it. Didn't help.
Okay.
And there's a few other chips, TM series chips I tried, didn't help.
They sold one at Captain's Auction the other day.
How much?
I'm going to look. Actually, I was watching the machine prices. I expected with everything going on for them to be not super high. I mean, not like low, but... And stuff was going for way more than I was... I just...
Hey, wow. Jason, tonight when we do What's in the Juke, I'd like you to judge rather than guess. And then if they can't get it, I would like you to guess before I tell everybody what it is. Is that cool?
Of course.
All right, and Mark, you'll keep track of scores, right?
Yes, I'm in there.
And I'll just sit here and make the show look pretty.
Wow.
Well,
already failed at my job. Damn it!
Self-deprecating humor is the best kind of humor.
I'm looking for Moonwalker.
I do now own a working 6-player X-Men PCB.
You can convert Shadow Dancer to Moonwalker.
Can you?
Oh, Shadow Dancer too, huh?
Hey, what can I convert Lethal Enforcers 2 over to?
The tragedy end.
I want to make an app where Jason Kopp answers you when you need a conversion done.
And it says rub some bacon on it?
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, I need NPN transistor 2N3055 equivalent. Jason Kopp will answer you.
I'm sorry, tip 35.
Tip 35. All right, cool.
Right? Is that it? I could be wrong.
Well, it's a bottle cap transistor, so the tip's gonna be interesting to wire in, but you know.
Yeah. It's not the same format, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just the tip, though.
Package.
Just
Just
the
the
tip.
tip.
Just
Not
the
the whole
tip,
package.
not the whole package.
Don't grab it by the package.
Oh man, you know this hobby is so dirty. Talk
Speaking
about
of Moonwalker, just the tip.
Hey buddies in the chat, how you doing
I
tonight?
get it.
$2,000 is what it went for.
$2,000.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, there was a Goldie that went. There was a Goldie that sold, and I'm like watching. I'm like, Goldies don't normally go for that much, right? I mean, they go for, they're not cheap, but it went for, actually that wasn't too bad, but with shipping and the fees, $750. Problem with Captains is it's a 20% like surcharge on everything, so $2,000 is really $2,400, and then shipping's another $100 to $200, and they won't do Fastenal, so you've got to go STI, so you're looking at $200 to $300.
Is anyone else bored by this story? Because I am bored.
Oh, this is when you usually start the show.
Oh, okay, all right. Let's figure that out.
I'm just filling space.
That's
Making it look-
what she said.
Live from KOYR Studios in Minneapolis, Minnesota, this is Arcade Radio.
Hello, Commander. Computer reporting.
Intruder alert, intruder alert. A stimulating opponent.
Oh my gosh, it gets better every week, right? Hello,
Every
and thanks for
week.
joining. What?
Every week.
I know. Hello, and thanks for joining us in the Arcadosphere. This is Season 4, Episode 17 of the Arcade Radio Podcast. Today is Thursday, April 23rd, 2020, and the time is approximately 7:22 p.m. Central. I'm your host, Adam Tiberius Kirk, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Time Runner Shields, and Paradise Arcade Shop proprietor, and the 1994 Minor League Baseball MVP, Brian Thurston Howell Armitage III. And joining us tonight, you know him from his catchphrase, "What's going on, arcade nerds?" He's our vector expert and unofficial arcade solutions architect. Ladies and gentlemen, lady and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Jason Kopp. All right. Studio clap. Hey, man, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Good to have you on.
Well, thanks for having me on, I guess.
All right, so we're going to start out with a little bit of, and you know how this all goes, Jason. You've been involved. So this is your second time on the show. We welcome you back. What have you been working on, Jason? Why don't you kick us off with a couple of things and save some for the interview, but, you know.
What games you been working on?
Yeah.
So I've been working on. Well, not much lately. Not much. Last thing I worked on that was my own was a Cosmic Chasm PCB.
Nice.
And that's been a while back now, like 2-3 weeks ago. But I'm trying to shift over into like making circuit boards instead.
Okay.
As believe it or not, I've been neglecting my games. Like I have 3 games down in my arcade right now. It's
Oh.
kind of unheard of.
Which
One
games?
one or two of them because you stole parts, right?
Yeah. Well, I it's funny. I was making a prototype for an Amplifone collection board, and I stole the parts out of one of my Star Wars just to get it going. So that's one game that's down.
Rip
my tax
Star
scan
Wars.
is down.
Man.
Not tax scan.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that game.
That is not good. Tax scan should not be down.
No.
I have always wanted to play tax scan in a Star Wars cockpit cabinet. Like, how cool would that be to sit in there and play that game on that? I don't know. I think it'd be a blast.
Someone came over recently to play and played my tax scan. Well, let's say a month ago, and they couldn't wrap their mind around why the ship stays still. Like they're turning the spinner and they're like, "It's broke. It's broke." I'm like, "No, that's cool. You're playing it, dude. You're playing it. You got it." He's like, "It don't work." So I guess you got to know what it looks like.
I think that's one of the most. I saw that game. I saw that game in MAME, and it just blew my mind. And I'm like, I have to have this. I don't this is an amazing. Then you fly into the screen. I suck at it. I can't get anywhere, but I love it.
That is one of the games that I could play. Probably my best playing game. I could play that until I get sick of playing it and just turn it off.
Nice.
I mean, I could play it for 45 minutes.
Wow.
An hour, whatever.
We're gonna have the Arcade Jason Marathon tax scan session.
Nice.
I like tax scan a lot. I also like War of the Worlds a lot.
Do you? I hate that game. I have one, but I just the game mechanics to me just kind of suck. They're unfair and just I don't know, slow.
Jason, I'll tell you, I saw the fighting game guys. We had these 2 professional fighting game guys here. They played that game and they had it they were playing it better than any classic guy I've ever seen play it. It was hilarious. They're moving and shooting at the same time and they were good and quick at it.
I know that.
So, you want to get rid of it?
No, but I'll tell you how you can easily make one.
Well, luckily I'm getting a hold.
I'll sell you a cabinet.
You'll sell me a cabinet?
So you can.
Oh. All right, let's
Just
talk.
an armor attack cabinet.
I don't know. Is he cutting out for you, or you can hear him?
I can hear him.
He said an armor attack cabinet.
Maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Said he was going to give it to me, and then I'm going to sell it to you.
It's just you could just get an armor attack PCB and put different ROMs in it to make it play War of the Worlds, and you just Star Castle control panel, and all the holes are in the correct locations for War of the Worlds already. So it's really, it was a conversion, anyways.
From the factory, right? So they use Star Castle cabinets.
We can rebuild it. We have the technology.
It's a game that I didn't know existed until last year when Brian bought one. And then I played it and I love it. I'm going to have one in my Asteroids Deluxe, so I'm probably going to be okay with that. So that'll be fun. Mark, what have you been working on?
Well, as I mentioned before, I sent off my Holocene PCB to iRepairSega.com. And the audio was sort of clipped and weird, and I can't tell if it was really playing really fast, but it had multiple little issues.
Sure.
Basically, every time I heard audio, it was like, what is it? And I was like, at first I thought, is that Japanese? And it was not Japanese.
No. Does that have a Yamaha chipset on it? What is that on?
It does. That's the synthesizer, I think.
Yeah.
The other one is a Sega custom surface mount.
I have a lot of extra of those Yamahas.
Interesting. I think that actually worked because those kind of effects continued versus the I guess the recordings of the audio was what is it? So we'll see how that goes. I got my Pong monitor in the mail today, which is the Apple monochrome monitor. But that Pong PCB is a little weird. It's sending video that's a little bit too far off, so I need to figure out how to adjust the width. I tried doing it on the monitor, and then the scoring is a little weird. But There's like 40 chips on that thing. That should be pretty easy. And last but not least, I got the audio in kicks working again. It turned out I had just a loose crack on the header, as usual. And I went ahead and did some triple thick of the marquee and the bezel.
I thought you were going to say, I triple thick the header, and now I have no
Yes.
sound.
Yeah, I was like, if I just triple thick this chip, that'll help. Or, that'll take the cracks out of the solder, right? So I did not do that, but, I put in some warm LEDs, and now it's totally beautiful, and I'm very bad at it. I need to, get better, so that's what I'm doing.
Oh, Andy Baldwin.
That's Andy Baldwin.
He says Adam's hair is getting darker. It looks like he's ripening.
It's like the tomato.
he's a regular comedian, that guy. We'll see how he does on What's in the Juke tonight.
Oh, he's going to do well. It's Andy Baldwin.
Man, Metropolis just said that Star Wars in his area was for sale for $2,400, not working.
Yeah. They've
That's
been
kinda
going for
crazy.
Tons of money.
Yeah, I have one that's working, and I love it.
Right. How much
Hey.
did you pay?
$600.
What? I bought one for $400.
Yeah, I bought mine for too much money when I bought it, but now I'm glad I did.
Nice.
It broke a week after I bought it.
Oh,
The
6100.
No, the 6100 needed rebuilding too, but that's a different story. That came
Answer is
later.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it did break. But the board set actually, and I've talked about this maybe on an episode years ago, but my board set, the original board set for that, doesn't have any stars or TIE fighters anymore. So the game boots and it goes into the game, and you can select your level. But then as soon as you start playing, there's nothing to shoot. So you can never pass the first level, first of all. So you just fly around.
What does test mode have to say about that?
What's what? Test mode? Oh, well, it was 7 years ago when I bought a new board set for it. I still have it. I think there's a math box problem. I can't remember. I think I documented it somewhere. But I was considering sending them to Eugene Mosh.
Eugene's a good guy.
But I asked him if he repaired those, and he hasn't done them, and so I'm hesitant.
Decades.
Yeah. Jason, do you repair that kind of stuff?
If you want me to, I'll fix it.
But
Just don't make him fix a Battlezone. That's what I know.
so I bought a new AVG for it, and I tried doing some troubleshooting, and I replaced the proms, and then I just kind of shotgunning stuff. I remember this, but I also bought the Vector Labs Mark 1 kit for it. I say that because he has new pieces for it that'll, But anyway, it's the one where you can press the two buttons at the same time and switch to Empire Strikes Back. The board I have in my machine right now is a Clay Cowgill Special, so it has all the fine wires and the switch inside to change it.
I like that one best.
Do you really?
Why?
Is
The
there?
Vector Lab has a glitch where if it runs for so long, it'll freeze. And
Oh.
I sure as hell don't like that Vector monitor to freeze.
No,
Really? That's interesting.
bad.
Well, now I'm going to sell my Vector Labs kit and keep my Clay Cowgill boards, I guess. But I have actually two board sets. One is completely dead. And that one is going to require a lot more help. I'm pretty sure it's the CPU board. Brian and I plugged it into his Atari, what do you call that thing?
Pat 9000.
Pat 9000. So, yeah, anyway. That's not what I'm working on. I actually, I don't know. I haven't talked about my journey in a while because I haven't wanted to bring it up.
Oh my God.
The reason why is because the last time I touched the thing, Brian, well, there was a lot of strife going on here. So this is about a month and a half ago?
2 months.
2 months. Brian and I are moving the journey in, and he says, "Hey, was that there?" And I look, and there is a scratch, like about 4.5, 5 inches long on the side of the cabinet on my very expensive paint job. And I didn't notice it right away, but the scratch extended to a different part of the cabinet. But since I had it painted with auto paint and it's clear coat, I bought a buffer and some Meguiar's, and I buffed it out in about 2 minutes last week, which was freaking cool.
Oh yeah,
I love it. I recorded a video, and I'm going to put it up on our Facebook page. So that was really awesome. I'm also working on a jukebox that's up in my living room right now. It's a Row AMI MM1. The amplifier is toast on it. I did a little bit of basic troubleshooting, no sound coming out of it whatsoever. But from the transformers to the bridge rectifier and into two 3-amp fuses. The bridge rectifier is a weird one. It's an SBAC2 that downsteps this huge voltage to 1 volt and 3 amps, which is crazy. So the forward voltage on is 1 volt, 3 amps. Anyway, I decided that I'd replace that part because it was from 1967, and the chances are that would go out. The sound came back, so now I've got other issues, a low hum, and one of the channels isn't quite working. I think the power transistors are dead, but there isn't a single freaking manual about this jukebox anywhere online. You have to buy it. So I'm going to have to pay somebody to get the actual freaking catalog for this. So, did you hear Chewy back there? She can't make it past the vacuum cleaner. She's a little upset.
She's only got one
Kirk to
AA
Enterprise
battery in her thing in her head, right?
Yeah, it's terrible. Anyway, so I'm just working on the juke, and I'm working on I worked on buffing out Journey, but that's basically. And then I played Tempest a bunch, which was fun.
That's nice.
Brian, what are you working on?
I actually picked up 2 games today. So we did some social distancing, except for I handed the money over.
Right.
I picked up a Congo Bongo and a Jungle King.
Ooh.
So, yeah, 2 kind of just cabinets don't come up too often. Evidently, this lady's mother's boyfriend they're cleaning out his garage, and there was just this just eclectic collection of stuff everywhere, and 2 of the things were arcade cabinets. Aside from that, I'm not really working on much. I got everything is kind of functioning right now. I should get onto my soundboard for my Joust, which I haven't. I really need to get that fixed, but yeah, I've been just kind of chilling. I need some work. Oh, is that your multi-kit?
Yeah, I went to go put it into the multi-kit, and it's stuck. So that's also going to a guy in Dallas. I forget his name, but whatever. I'm going to send all of my Taito boards. I have 3 sets, so they're all going to him, and I'm like, make all of them work.
I will say, so the one thing that I've done, and I probably shouldn't publicize this too much, but Ken is such an awesome guy. I send him all of my Naomi systems, and we have a bunch of Naomi systems because of the fighting game guys.
Oh.
And evidently, he's never received 14 Naomis at the same time. I don't understand why. I mean, that seems like a logical thing to ship 14 of them at once to me, but so he is really nice about his he sets up and he basically gives us a really good deal when we send him multiple sets of the same board. But I've been using him for 8 years, 9 years now. I mean, it's just, and I mean, on top of that, with the, what are they, Chihiro systems? I was talking to him about those, and he's telling me all these problems. They're like the Windows version. They're like the Xbox version of the Naomi. And he basically was telling me, well, there's this, and this go wrong with them. You know what? Just get one. Have your tech guy call me. I'll walk him through all the fixes to bulletproof it. You guys can just do it. You never need to ship them to me.
Oh, man.
I mean, he's just the nice guy. So what I usually do is I send him a bunch of stuff, and I tell him, I'm like, fix what you can. Whatever you can't fix, just keep for parts. I don't need it back. You just, whatever's left over, scrap it, bring it, keep it. So anyways.
Nice.
That's cool.
But that, and I'm just selling a Zap and a Omega Race Cabaret.
No. I think I'm just gonna fly into Minnesota and get a small truck and just drive them back. I mean,
So you tell me how to ship them. We'll ship them. We're just shut down on Fastenal right now. Everything's
know.
cold.
well, what do you like besides Fastenal?
I don't care.
You don't
They're
care?
they're literally all right by the door. They're like
They're by the door.
they're
I
ready to
haven't
go.
Okay, fine.
They're on our little loading dock ramp. Like we can like put them in the back of a truck.
Okay, fine. I'll find somebody. We'll do it.
Whoever you want.
Good.
It's the Arcade News with Adam Stevens.
I always felt that the true star.
That is me, I think. Yeah.
What was that?
What? I don't know. I thought I heard Nolan. Did you guys hear? I heard Nolan.
I did hear Nolan.
For
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like a second. So from Hackaday.com, 3D print your way to a bar top arcade cabinet. Custom arcade machines have always been a fairly common project in the hacker and maker circles, but they've really taken off with the advent of the Raspberry Pi and turnkey controller kits. So with the internals neatly sorted, the only thing you really need to figure out is the cabinet itself. Unfortunately, that's often the trickiest part. So without proper woodworking tools or ideally a CNC router, it can be tough. And at least to produce a decent looking cabinet out of the traditional stuff. But if you're willing to leave the wood cabinet behind, Garrett Gazik, is that his real name? Garrett Gazik?
It is. What a weird. Yeah, his parents were cruel.
He might have a solution for you. This bar top arcade, which he calls the Simply Retro D8, uses a fully 3D printed cabinet. He's gone through the trouble of designing so there are no visible screw holes. So it looks like the whole thing was hewn from a chunk of pure synthwave. So
Wow.
That's a beautiful line right there.
I know.
So it looks like the whole thing was hewn from a chunk of pure synthwave. Yes. So he notes that this can make the assembly somewhat tricky in a few spots, but we think it's a worthy compromise. Given the squat profile of the Simply Retro, the internals are packed in a bit tighter than you might be accustomed to, seeing in an arcade build anyway, but there's still more than enough room for the Raspberry Pi, or probably a Pi Zero. So 8-inch touchscreen HDMI panel and all of the controls to keep things as neat as possible. Garrett even added integrated zip tie mount points, that's pretty awesome, right? Like you don't have to have a little clip in there or a screw. It's just there already. So
Nice.
a worthwhile CAD tip that's certainly not limited to arcade cabinets. Giving advice. He's just giving us advice on, if you're going to create a CAD drawing for an arcade cabinet, include zip tie joints, right? That's important. So Garrett has included not only the STL files for this design, but also the Fusion 360 archive, should you want to make any modifications. There's also a complete bill of materials, as well as the detailed instructions on how to pull it all together. And if you've ever wanted your own arcade machine but felt a bit overwhelmed about figuring out all the nuances on your own, the Simply Retro could be the project you've been waiting for.
Nice.
Yeah. There's one more here from GoNintendo.com, their arcade archives. 4 Data East games are being added to the lineup, including Burger Time. That's right. Hamster has announced that 4 Data East are being added to the arcade archives lineup. The game in question are the 1982 Burger Time, the racing game Burnin' Rubber. I don't remember that. Is that like
I don't either.
Is that like a bump and jump game? Then there's a beat 'em up Trio the Punch, Never Forget Me, 1989, and then 1986 vertically scrolling shoot 'em up Darwin 4078. It seems a little derivative, doesn't it? Arcade Archives is a series of emulated arcade games from the 1980s and 1990s for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, and the Nintendo Switch, published by Hamster Corporation. Thanks for listening on that little bit, and I think the next segment is going to be really fun tonight. I don't know about you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just looking over. So I will make one comment about the D8.
Okay.
Please, if you do this, use better buttons than they show.
Oh. My God. And where can you get those buttons, Brian?
Well, you can get them at Paradise Arcade Shop, but you can get them a lot of places. They show the. No, they show the.
I only buy my buttons.
Promotion.
I only buy my buttons from Paradise Arcade Shop.
I got a screwed up button on my Coliseum, and I'm going to Paradise Arcade Shop because they have candy.
Paradise Arcade Shop. Get your buttons there.
So they show these Chinese buttons in here that are just quite honestly terrible.
That's racist.
I mean, they're just awful.
That's racist.
So, no, China-made buttons, Chinese made. What do you want to call it?
Are they full of COVID?
What's that?
Are they full of COVID?
They're COVID buttons. But yeah, it's just. And then I was going to ask you guys, what do you think about? Because all this 3D printed stuff now, the texture drives me nuts on it.
You might need to sand it a little bit, but if you're not going to get up close to it, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but you're playing an arcade game. I mean, hopefully it's not a 6-foot separation deal.
I think Brian just went Irish. Yeah, but you're playing an arcade game. Your head's like an orange on a toothpick.
Look at his giant head on his pillow.
We've got a Piper Doon. We've got a Piper Doon. All right, let's get on with the next segment.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin quarter mile.
Back to the cave with Time Runner.
Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
That's right, Doc. What's going on in the arcade back here in the cade? Well, as anyone who attended arcades in the 1980s can attest, musician Christopher Cross is certainly one of the songsters whose music was played regularly there. Did you know Chris won an Academy Award in 1981 for Arthur's theme, actually called The Best That You Can Do? Great song.
It is a good song.
It is. I love it. In fact, Adam was supposed to attend a Christopher Cross concert just this past weekend, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Well, but for obvious reasons, concert was canceled. Even worse, Chris recently contracted COVID-19 and is temporarily paralyzed.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. It was so.
So
This
we're
is
keeping multiple candles lit.
Yeah, me too. You know, this was his 40th anniversary of his self-titled album, which he won 3 Grammys for. I think best new artist, best album, and best song, which that hasn't ever happened until this year. Billie Eilish accomplished that, so that's pretty cool. The guy's an amazing songwriter. Ride Like the Wind, awesome song. That's really sad.
Do you have any favorite songs you can play for us right now, just for like a little sample?
I could probably do that. I mean, let's sample a little.
Owned?
Let's see. Yeah, they're Sony owned. They probably are, right? Well, I don't know. He is touring at Mystic. Was it one of the Treasure Island Casino? So, I don't know. Maybe would they let him go there? Do they let you do that if you're like a big artist? I don't know. But here, yeah, let's play a couple of tracks off of this album. Yeah, well, here we go. Yeah, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mr. Hurricane.
Yeah, so that's Ride Like the Wind. And then, of course, you guys know this song. That's probably his biggest hit.
Sail away, find tranquility. Oh, the canvas can do miracles. Just you wait and see.
Yeah, and on this album, Michael McDonald guests as a backup singer, and there's also a smattering of other good artists. So if you want a good listen, pick up Christopher Cross's 1980 album entitled Christopher Cross.
Yeah, and we're, like I said, we're going to keep some candles lit for Chris. And if he recovers, you can actually book him for $35,000 from the SME Entertainment Group. He could play a concert in your backyard.
Crap, he is on Sony. God, we're going to get banned.
Yeah, well, I'm not 100% sure if that SME is the same, but we'll see.
It's a different SME.
Yeah.
They got banned too.
This one has to do with sadomasochism. Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
Right. So, I guess that leaves me with one question for you, Adam.
Yeah?
What's in the juke?
What's in the juke?
You know what's funny is the best comment during that last segment was Jeff Mormon says, I feel like we should be shopping at JCPenney.
Yeah, hello.
How the hell do we play this game, Mark?
Well, today's going to be a little bit different.
Okay.
Where you're gonna hear a sample of something, and you're gonna guess the game.
All right.
And the producer of the game.
So the company that made the game.
The company that made the game.
Okay.
Correct. And we'll be pretty lenient on that because some games are licensed, and we'll pretty much work with you there.
So how much do you get if you get like the name of the game?
The name of the game, if you can get that, that's a half a point.
Half point.
Okay. What if you get the name and the manufacturer?
Yes, I think that you're doing well. You could just do this yourself.
Full point.
All right, you get a full point.
Nice.
So
great. And if you don't know it, fight it out.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that. Now, yeah, we know about the fighting sound. Okay, so anyway, you guys know the rules. This is normally pop music, but tonight you are going to be listening to samples of music. This ought to be good. I'm going to do something wrong.
Can I participate in this?
I'm sorry, what?
Can Jason participate in this?
Oh, Jason, how about we do this? I think you should.
If that's totally fine, but I have.
Well, here's the thing: you've got a 7-second advantage. So
okay, then I will not
Jason would have to turn off this live audio and then turn on.
You could
YouTube.
participate if you want to participate on your chat, over there. But I was thinking maybe you should judge, and then if somebody can't get it, you can say, this is obviously blah blah blah, because I think you'll get it.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, so let me dump these into here because
what's funny is I thought nobody was chatting tonight, and my pop-out chat's been frozen for like 40 minutes.
I've got that's pretty funny and sad.
Andy Baldwin says we should have a Clav Kickstarter to get a Christopher Cross concert.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
And he does have.
Play.
I know he has at least.
I would have to be wearing pants to change my pants. Thank you very much.
Oh no.
Oh. Yeah, Brian's outfit does not change from week to week. It's pretty much the same. Of course, I
don't have my scrubs.
I shouldn't talk, but all right. So here comes your first. I'm sorry. What?
I had real clothes on Monday.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna play your first clip. Here it comes. Let's see who gets that. Aaron Sanders on the board with Asteroids, and it is Atari, Andy Baldwin. So they each get half point for that one. Is this how we're doing it?
Yeah.
All right.
Now that's actually a different Asteroids, but which
Asteroids? Yeah. That is true.
That's not really Asteroids, is it?
No, it is not Asteroids. We just got correct. We just got schooled here. All right. Well, I'm taking the half point off for Aaron, and Steve Taki pulled out Deluxe.
Correct.
So Steve Taki's on the board with a half point for Asteroids Deluxe. All right.
Half point.
That's pretty cool. There's going to be some serious fighting. I can feel it. We just, I don't know. Yeah,
Oh,
anytime
boy.
we have a violation tonight, you got to turn that siren on full blast, okay, Brian? All right, here comes the next. Aaron just said "F you."
Oh no.
He's so mad. Okay.
That asteroid snap, what my dad does.
Nice, Yeti. Nice. All right, here comes your next track. Brian Jones is on the board with TaxScan, and all we need is the manufacturer, and that is Sega. Aaron Sanders gets his half point back. All right.
Half point.
Half point for both of those gentlemen. All right, here comes your next track. This is going to be a tough one. Devo. Okay, that one was really hard.
That's what she said.
All right, I'm going to defer to our guest. Jason, do you know what that was?
Oh, I know what it is. You want me to say it?
Yep, go ahead.
That'll be Cosmic Chasm.
No, it's not.
No, I'm sorry, Midge Havoc.
Nope, it's not.
I mean, what is it then? I know the sounds.
That is Aztrek by
Oh,
Century.
get out. You're right.
So I think that's the toughest one. All right, here you go. Your next track is
That's so crazy.
It is. That's a lot going on there. Not Battlezone, not Defender, not Battlezone. It's interesting.
Not Atari.
Not Atari, not Midway. By the way, Midway only had one vector game. So
Someone got
no one got it.
No, Brian Jones
Oh
did.
wait.
No, there's Armor Attack right here.
Yeah, Brian Jones got it, but who was it was not, and it is Cinematronics. Who guessed Cinematronics first though? Was it Brian?
Also Brian. Yep.
So he got a whole point.
Full
Brian
point.
Jones pulling into first place.
Wow. All right. Nice job. That's a tough one. Okay, ladies and germs, here we go.
Oh yeah.
We had the creator of this game on our show. Yes, Yeti, it is Battlezone. And we need the name. There we go. Aaron Sanders. Aaron Sanders, half point, and Yeti gets the other half point. All right, cool. Here comes your next one. Keep in mind, these are all vector arcade games. Steve Taki is correct. That is Atari. And Andy Baldwin is correct. That is Black Widow.
Half point.
So Steve Taki with Atari. And yeah, that was Black Widow. Okay, here comes your next one.
So, a creature for my amusement. Prepare for battle.
Who got the first Space Fury? Andy Baldwin got Sega, and then Yeti got Space Fury. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
All right.
Half point.
Half point for both those guys. Yeti, nice job. Andy Baldwin, great job on the Sega. All right, here we go. This one might be a little bit more difficult. Brian Jones, Eliminator is correct. That is a Sega game. Yeti. Am I?
Yo, Eddie, got it.
All right.
Half point.
For both those guys. Okay. Eliminator Gremlin. Sega Gremlin. Okay. All right, here we go. Is that an actual sound? Intergalactic Beastie
So
Boys.
loud.
It is super loud. But listen to that bass in the beginning. Boom. I think he Cosmic Chasm. Aaron, do you have a cheat list? What's going on here?
Half point.
That's awesome. Who got the Cinematronics? Full point.
Full point.
That's got to. Aaron's got to be close to catching up.
He's tied with Brian Jones for first place.
Excellent. Okay, this one is a more familiar one to the masses. Andy Baldwin's got Atari and Major Havoc. That puts him on the board for another full point. All right.
He's in the lead.
That's very good, you guys. Major Tom, Casey, you're close. I know Casey's pissed off right now. We're playing video game sounds, and he wants to guess songs. Oh, poor guy. So we did Asteroids Deluxe, Tac Scan, Aztrack, Armor Attack, Battlezone, Black Widow, Space Fury, Eliminator, Major Havoc, Cosmic Chasm, and here comes your next.
Wait, what's the order here? Who's winning?
Oh, well,
right now, Andy Baldwin's in the lead with 2.5 points. Brian Jones and Aaron Sanders are in second with 2 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Third is Yo Eddie, and then last, but still number 1 in our hearts, Steve Taki.
All right.
So you've come to take a cell back. You'll have to fight for it.
Approaching.
Zektor is correct. Yeti. And who is the builder of that game? Sega.
Yeti got both.
All right. Full point for
Brian
Yeti.
Jones on. Brian, how's it feel coming second twice?
Full point.
Oh no.
All right. Well, we got so where's the score at? We have a full point ahead. We have a clear 1, 2, and 3 winner yet.
Correct. Andy Baldwin and Yo Eddie are tied, and Brian Jones and Aaron Sanders are tied.
Hey, Yo Eddie, is it Yo Eddie or is it Yeti? Tell us.
Yeti.
Okay, because we'll call you Yo Eddie if you want us to. We have 2 more. It's Yo Eddie. Okay. Yo Eddie, man. That's
Andy getting the half point.
Red Baron.
All right.
Andy is on fire here.
Half point.
We split it up between Andy and Yo Eddie. We have 1 left. This one is going to probably be the best one. I'm sorry, not the best, but the easiest one we've had tonight.
Yeah.
I've never played this, so I don't know what it sounds like, but I'm pretty sure everybody's going to get it.
Well, I jumped across a certain spot.
Yeah, here we go.
Entering sector 1.2.
Donkey Kong Nintendo. No, that's not correct. That's not even close. That's not even a vector game. A rip-off. Andy Baldwin is Star Trek and Sega. He gets a full point for that.
Full point.
Andy, you're just sweeping up the...
Big Steve got Star Trek.
Steve Taki got Star Trek above him.
Oh, he did?
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
Thanks for correcting me. Hey, Steve, buddy, didn't mean to take that half point away from you.
He also did. He also put Speed Freak.
Well,
That's the thought that counts.
maybe we
winner,
should.
The winner tonight is Andy Baldwin.
I like all the random names that are in between this. And somebody guessed a Mega Race like every time. Have you guys never played a Mega Race? Crying out loud. All right. So we're going to give away some prizes to the winners.
The winner should get like Bob Zarzadek recording an outgoing voice message on their phone.
Yeah.
A $35 value.
Trust me, nobody's going to want that. Not on purpose.
Okay, I've got some lapel pins this week.
Wait, did you see Brian Jones's comment?
Maybe I won't give away anything.
I think the Starbucks hair dye is getting to you.
Brian Jones, noted. Thank you.
Yes.
You are now disqualified from every What's in the Juke. Okay, so we have a few prizes for winners, people that are not named Brian Jones. And I've got some lapel pins. Who was first place?
That would be Andy Baldwin.
Andy Baldwin, you get to choose between Tempest, Gauntlet, Pong, Donkey Kong, or Journey. And here are the lapel pins. So I'm holding them up the best I can if you can see them.
That's so cool.
They're really cool. They're about 1.5 inches each, made by Mike Page. And I got to get him to put his, oops, I almost dropped that in my drink. Tempest, of course. Okay, so that's our Vector winner for tonight. Okay, who's number 2?
Yo Eddie is number 2 with 3 points.
Okay, Yo Eddie, you get to choose from the remaining. And could you mark down which one he won? So
I am, of course.
Okay, all right. All right, so you have Journey, Gauntlet, Pong, or Donkey Kong. Yo Eddie, you get to choose your lapel pin. And then send us your info on the Facebook page. You can send me an email or friend me on Facebook and give me your information. My email is adam@RcadeRadio.com. All right, so Donkey Kong. And our third place winner?
Third place winner is... Let's see, I'm doing math. It's a tie between Brian Jones and Aaron Sanders.
Well, Brian Jones doesn't win automatically tonight. So Aaron Sanders, you get to pick between the last 3. What do you got going here? Pong, Journey, or Gauntlet. What's wrong with elevator action? Nothing's wrong with it.
I don't know.
Journey.
Okay, cool. Yeah, doesn't he have 8 Journey machines? So that makes sense. Okay, so those will be going out. Aaron, I think I have your info, but send it to me anyway. Adam at Arcade Radio, or hit me up on my messenger on Facebook. Okay, that was pretty cool. So thanks for playing. Should we check the voicemail?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, we maybe need a jingle for Bob.
What would it sound like?
Well, let's see.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of The Adventures of Bob Zarzadek.
Thank you for calling 612-548-GAME. This is Arcade Radio. Please leave your message after the tone.
Hey, arcade nerds and Jason Kopp. It's your buddy, Bob Zarzadek, control panel expert and technician. I am no longer a prisoner of the state of Florida. Hey, let me catch you up on the deets. First off, I jumped out of that tree. I was sick and tired of oranges, and I was briefly a castaway on a prison milk truck until it finally stopped and I was able to sneak into this here cow pasture. Hey, you know what? I get it now. Pasteurized. That's pretty cool. Yeah, all these cows are great. They're super friendly. And now that I have all the raw milk I can drink, it's awesome. It's like a state fair, but better. Yeah. So anyway, another shout out to the man, Jason Kopp. Arcade Jason, you rule, dude. And your wife, she rules too. You're co-rulers. Yeah. So yeah, I'm oh hey, whoa. Oh, hey, this bull really looks mad at me. I'm gonna move out of the way here. I have no idea how to do that running of the bulls thing. You know, I hear Italy's nice, but and I love pizza. Hey, I gotta go, guys. I'm gonna catch you next week on the Zippity Zip. Sergeant Decal.
Oh, that was a good one.
Nice.
Man, those
That's
cows.
good.
Did somebody did somebody make
Is there
those cow
another
noises?
voicemail?
Is there another one?
I don't know. I hear there is.
Let me just check. You know, last week that warden called us.
That's right.
Let's
He
see.
wasn't upset. Was
He was we didn't help him. I wonder.
Yeah, I never called him back.
I didn't either. Brian, did you call him? Oh boy.
That's a bad question. You know I didn't.
Hey, there is another voicemail. Let's see what's going on.
Yes. Hello, Arcade Radio. This is Tim. Tim Farmer. I'm an actual farmer as well. In addition, the name is just a coincidence. But to get to the point of my call, I hear you guys know a man by the name of Zarzadart or Zarzadrak or something like that. The prison warden sent us a message on Nextdoor, and I think this Zarza guy might be in my cow pasture, making friends with my cows. I can't have that. I'm the only one allowed to be friends with my cows, so this makes me mad. I need you to get in touch with him and tell him that. My cows are already looking at me like I'm a stranger. This is unacceptable. You can star 69 me to call me back. I'm always waiting for a star 69 to happen. Okay, I guess that's it. Bye.
Shit!
I'm the only one allowed to be friends with my cows. They're looking at me like I'm a stranger.
Oh boy, that's made me cry. It's made me cry. Oh my god, that was hilarious. Who was that?
Thanks for your call, Tim Farmer.
Tim
That's
Farmer.
Tim Farmer. He is also a farmer, apparently.
I'm an actual farmer as well. Oh my god. Okay, that was good. Oh, well, that brings us to the best part of the show, which is oh, such fanfare. Welcome back to the show, Jason Kopp. It's good to have you on.
Thanks for having me on.
Okay, let's get.
I gotta say, I had the best description. Somebody the other day said to me about Jason that I thought was perfect.
Okay.
Is that he's like the mad scientist of arcade games.
Yeah.
Because he's always coming up with some awesome idea, and it's like this, like, look what I can do, and everyone's like, holy shit. Jason's like, well, I mean, this is just obvious. You have this, and then he sits there and draws it out. But yeah, I thought that description was perfect. So thank you for everything you do.
Arcade games.
Whereas Wreck-It Ralph is, I'm gonna wreck it. You're like, I'm gonna fix it. So
Fix it, Ralph.
Fix it, Ralph. So, well, tell us a little bit about yourself, because we might have some people that don't know who you are. So, Jason, you have a couple of Facebook groups, you have a YouTube thing. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this mess.
How I got into it? Or, well, I don't know. I'm going gray. I'm overweight. And
This is not the newlywed game.
He's not well groomed. He's an arcade guy. Yeah.
How did you get into the situation you got into? Well, I ate a lot of food and.
What's the weirdest place you've ever done?
It's genetic. It's genetic.
In the butt.
So how'd you get into arcade collecting, first of all?
well, I guess I said this story before on this show.
Oh, we might
But
want to abbreviate it then.
I'm going to say it again, short and sweet. I used to collect. I used to be really big on collecting old computers.
Okay.
And I would always clone like these boards. And it doesn't make sense, but I'd get like, let's say, a Timex Sinclair 1000, and I would take all the chips off and put it on like a breadboard, and then see what chips I could substitute if I could substitute anything, and I just reassemble that same board on like a breadboard. Like, look at that! Even though I didn't make it, it's kind of stupid. But that's just, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed taking something apart and putting it back together so I could see how it worked, and it, I always enjoyed that. And I had a garage sale where I had like a table with like chips all over the place, just all kinds of random chips. And some guy, he says, "Ooh, I need that. And I said, "Do you work on old computers?" And he says, "No, I fix arcade machines." And so he took me to his warehouse where he had like 200 and some arcade machines. And at that time, I didn't get it. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Let me see what the circuit board looks like. And I was like, wow, look at this circuit board. Whoa, this is big and whatever. And that's what she said. So then he started giving me all these boards, and I would start fixing them. And my first board, my first arcade machine was a Centipede Cocktail that I specifically bought back then to just room it and make it into a test room. And actually, years later, I put it back together, and I'd like to get it back from the guy I sold it to. But, but so I just started fixing circuit boards, and after a while, I got the bug. I was like, wow, I like this artwork, or I like that artwork, or this gameplay's cool, or whatever. Just, how I got into it.
That's crazy. That's just crazy. 200 games. You must have been. Do you remember how old you were back then?
It was. We're getting close to 20 years ago.
Okay, so that 20 years ago, 200 games was a lot of games for one person to have, unless you're an operator.
Well, believe it or not, there's a guy that he introduced me to, who to this day still has about 3,000 games. And this guy, 3,000 games. This guy is about 45 minutes away from me. And he's not on the internet. He's not on Facebook. He doesn't do claw. He's just some mystery massive collector.
So everybody just start following Jason for the next 2 months.
So now there's this like drone net around Jason's property, 45 minutes. Where is there a storage shed big enough for 3,000 games?
Yeah, he actually bought an entire glass company and shut them down and used the building.
Wow.
It's funny.
So, needless to say, you got the bug. So what was your first game?
Centipede Cocktail.
Centipede Cocktail. And then your second and third games progressively more difficult to fix? Or did you buy your games broken?
You know what? Shortly after that, I got 7 Space Duels for $50 a piece. And some had monitors, and actually most of them had monitors. And once I got mine working, at that time I didn't know so much. I figured out that it's that AVG chip, which I didn't know was called AVG yet. And I got one working and so on, like, awesome. And so I gave away all the rest. Hey, you guys want this game? It's pretty cool. And, so, and I wish I hadn't done that now because, the monitors alone. But, that was like probably my next games after that. I got like 7 Space Duels for $50 a piece.
Wow.
Well, that was the joke back then, right? That a Space Duel was a 6100 carrier.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just the box for 6100.
The funny thing is, I love that game.
Really?
I do too. I remember my neighbors were complaining. I used to live in a trailer park back then, and I had like the volume cranked up. The neighbors next door were like, "Can you please turn whatever the hell that is down?"
But it's an incredibly fun game, especially for 2 people.
Yes.
I mean, you can't really play it with a single person, in my opinion. It really needs the 2 to make it rock.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. So, obviously, you're kind of self-taught, and I think we talked about that before. Let's skip ahead to now. If you want to know more about the past, you can check out the past episode with Jason Kopp on it. But let's talk a little bit about the projects you're working on right now. Maybe you can show us some of them.
Well, the one thing that a lot of people keep talking about is this. It's really the most simplest thing you could think of, but it's
so cool.
The Raspberry Pi hat that basically plugs into a full position machine. So far, this almost works. This is the first one. So far, my issues are this connector is backwards, and this connector is backwards. So that's easy enough to fix.
At least they're consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is that a
Or you
Pi
could
Zero mounted to the board?
Yeah, what this does is it plugs into a pole position cabinet, and it will play pole position with a Pi. Emulation. This is not FPGA. FPGA would be better, but this is emulation. And since you have a Raspberry Pi already built in, you could play other games. You play Cruis'n Exotica on your pole position cabinet or whatever. But yeah, so far I had a steering issue where I couldn't get the quadrature input to work properly from the steering optos, and I had an issue and I couldn't figure it out. Well, I could have figured it out maybe, but Clay Cowgill sent me a schematic of something he already did. He already went down this road, and he sent me a schematic, so that's going to be fixed. And the code for the microcontroller, I have a buddy doing that. He has that working, but it's not in my hands yet, his code. So soon, this will be actually 100% working as a goofy prototype. So next revision should actually be a working board. So that's
Sweet.
pretty cool.
I gotta give you credit. I mean, if you do a project that has enough attention that Clay shares his schematics with you and says, "Hey, here's what I did."
I really do look up to Clay, and it's funny because like people ask me questions all the time, and they think that I'm so smart, and I talk to them, but when I talk to Clay, it reminds me of how I talk to the average people. You know what I mean? So, like Clay will answer your question in a specific way to make you come to the conclusion on your own. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
like a teacher.
That's how I do all the not so smart guys. Yeah, Clay is such a dude.
Clay, I'll tell you, like, and I mean, on top of being a smart dude, Clay and I had some differences in the past, some stuff that happened. We won't get into that, but he is such a gentleman, and he and I have conversations once every week or 2 weeks, and just the insight he has and little pieces he have. I'll throw projects that I'm working on out in front of him, and he just makes little suggestions. Just a really good guy. I mean, really, really a good guy, and I don't think this community realizes how much they owe to him.
Oh yeah.
So, but Jason, so this Pi position board is, I mean, people are gonna have working pole positions.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
If you call that working, see, I don't want to cut down my own work here, but as for me and my pole position, I will always be original.
Okay,
always remain. But I know there's like 1,000 people out there that are like, well, I wish it just worked today. It'd be great. Yeah. So this would be for those guys, and
Well,
I have best wishes to Adam, because I know Adam's been working on an FPGA for a long time.
13 years.
Yeah.
Like he was really close for a long time. I don't know.
He was supposed to actually send something to Clay, and he never did, which is weird. And so I don't know. He's just, it's a social type project for him that he's.
By the way, it's not Adam Stevens. It's a different Adam.
Adam Cortez.
So I have this prediction that after your board goes out, Jason, we're going to have the usual, like, half the arcade community is going to buy it, and they're going to put it on the closet shelf. It's going to sit there, which is fine. we have this hoarding mentality. But the other thing that's going to happen is people are going to have these, like, hundreds of pole position cabinets that all they needed fixed was the board, and they put this in and find out, shit, now I need the monitor fixed too.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a rush of Geo7 and monitor repairs.
Optos.
They used more than the Geo7 in that too. They also used the Matsushita 19.
Yep. And the Matsushita is a nice monitor when you get that thing tuned up. That's a really nice monitor.
So the other thing that I was thinking of, though, is even if you have a pole position, with the frequency of them going down or having issues or having dual ARs that haven't been rebuilt and bulletproofed, whatnot, but this wouldn't be a bad board to have on hand if you needed to plug it in at a party. Sure. So, boom, your pole position goes down. bam, you got that thing. You put it in. You could even have it mounted in the cabinet, so you could just switch it. But
yeah, normally those pole position cabinets get super hot. It's like a furnace in there, and you open the back door.
Yeah.
And this would like cut all that heat away.
Yeah.
Because you're not pulling off of those ARs so hard and everything.
Is it running?
Go ahead.
It runs completely on 5 volts.
Yeah, 5 volts.
Yep.
But did you know Atari, they oversized a fuse for pole position, specifically for the pole position cabinet. Everywhere else in their manuals or paperwork, they say use the correct fuse and so on. They themselves put an oversized fuse inside pole position just so it wouldn't blow up. So they were running those ARs to the extreme just to get it to go.
I like Metropolis's suggestion is you sell this in conjunction with cap kits. So you can have your choice of your pie position board and a Matsushita or a Geo7 cap kit.
Yeah, and by the way, Geo7s have, I don't know why, but the phosphor is so prone to burn in. The Geo7s are always totally hashed. Matsushita is not so much. That game burned the hell out of Geo7s. And I have a Missile Command that has the same problem. I think a lot of people would say, hey, yeah, my Geo7 has a burn-in of whatever game I have in it. Centipede, I mean, it was burn-prone, if you ask me.
And Andy Baldwin is...
I was just about to say that. Andy in the chat was asking how much, and I don't know. But the number I'm going to tell you now is $150, but we'll try to get it way cheaper. I mean, obviously there is not much research that goes into this. This is actually this is the easy way out. And there's not many components on the board. So once I start ordering stuff, it may be cheaper, but let's say 150.
Does it come with the Pi Zero on it, or are you going to have them?
Yes, it would come with the Pi Zero on.
Cool.
And here's where Jason and I actually differ in opinion. Jason says things are incredibly simple, and he and I will talk about things. And the value that he places on his knowledge and insight of things is like, I mean,
I agree.
Hats off to you, Jason. A lot of credit to you for like supplying the stuff to the community, because you do. But I mean, I got to be honest. $150 for a board that does what you're talking about doing, that's a steal.
I think that's a great deal.
If you had a pole position, not to buy it.
Chatters, tell us what you think. $150 worth it? Tell us. Okay. So next project. What else are you working on?
Oh wait. Can I interject one last thing?
Yeah.
My question is, how much does it cost for you to have a prototype built?
Well, don't tell him that. Don't tell us that.
No. I mean, is it?
Oh, okay. Well, it's actually super cheap just to get the board itself. The
Right.
boards themselves are dirt cheap. But
so
for example,
like what I'm thinking of is because you actually said this in a post that you needed to save up some money so you could send the next prototype.
We're getting to that. Yeah.
I'm not exactly rich. I'm kind of poor.
Right.
I quit my job like 2 years ago, and I intended to try to make money with arcade stuff, and it's not working as well as I thought. But so this is my prototype ampliphone board, and all these components you're talking like $75. So sometimes at the end of the week, I'm thinking, well, I need to pay the bills or I need to buy the board. So it's not that expensive to prototype something, but it is for me in my situation, I guess.
Well, and then, so I'm going to add something to this that Brian was talking about too. So there's value in a prototype. A prototype should have a value on them in and of themselves. If you produce something for, let's just say the board costs you a couple bucks, no big deal. And it has $50 to $75 worth of parts on it. I was just going to guess. Because you don't know, and you're going to have to buy stock probably and you have to buy in bulk. So you're going to be putting an investment in there. And then on top of that, you now have labor. So that board that costs you, quote unquote, $45 to make with all the parts and but the labor, you tack that on, let's just say you make a decent wage, let's say $75,000 a year. That's a big number. But you have to So you're talking $37.50 an hour. Okay, so how many hours did it take to put that together, right? That's probably a half day's work. So now you're talking about, 40, 80, 160 plus the board cost. You're way over already on your prototype, right? Now, if you can mass produce those and you can have some that work done somewhere else, great. Now you can lower the cost of the board, but that thing is still worth more than $160 right out of the gate. So, people don't realize, I mean, the time that goes into these things, you have to make a wage. You have to put food on your table, and if this is all you're doing, we could, there are people, Brian, there are other people that make this stuff in mass and have an outlet. There's, I'm trying to think of some of the other businesses, we all
Arcade Shop.
I was just gonna say we all shop at Arcade Shop. There's Quarter Arcade. Yep. There's High Score Saves. There's Paradise Arcade Shop. All these different outlets, and these people have to make money. So I'm not opposed to paying $150 for a board. That's a great price for that pole position board.
I agree. So what my point of bringing it up was, I would love to prepay 2 boards, which would hopefully fund your next round of corrections, and then whatever happens.
For the Ampliphone, which boards?
Contact me trying to prepay, and I don't want to hang myself with like a bunch of prepay and then die tomorrow or something. That scares me for some reason. But I will say this: Brian Armitage with Paradise Arcade Shop, I'm hoping, and we're talking, and I think we will sell some of my stuff in his in his store, and he can help me with obviously things that'll make him money too, but help me with buying parts and so on.
Right. Distribution.
So that's coming in the future soon.
Sweet.
I actually made like an account that I could order parts. So funding isn't that much of an issue as of lately.
Yeah.
I got to take advantage of it.
Like last 2 days.
Well,
better hurry because Brian's moving to Colorado, maybe, and then.
Well, he's not moving. He's going to be working there.
He's not?
No. Well, I'm moving. It's happening, but we're not stopping things. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep the party going.
Nice.
So let's get back to some of your other projects. We kind of skimmed over some of them, so we know about the Pi position. Tell us about that Ampliphone board.
Oh, well, this is interesting. It's all right. It will plug into an Ampliphone, but it's basically similar deflection to Wells Gardner 6400. And I went with that because the 6400 can handle way higher voltage. In other words, the 6400 can run in a Sega Vector cabinet. So this, even though it's Ampliphone, can run under Sega Vector voltages and still have a perfect picture and so on. So I thought I might as well go with that. It's not really a copy. I know a lot of people are reproing and they're copying the schematics. These are my schematics. This is and not that that's even that big of a deal. Anyone can make a class AB amplifier. It's not a big deal. But I don't know. I just wanted it to.
Well, let's
This is what I love about talking to Jason. He'll say anybody can make a class AB amplifier.
That's not true.
Chatters. Yeah. How many people in the chat know what an AB amplifier is?
So before we get sidetracked, so we're getting super technical. Can we talk about the games that would support? What games can you play on the 6400? What games can you play on the Ampliphone? Obviously, Star Wars.
I don't know if I have one here or not. I guess I don't have. Oh, wait, I do have one. This would connect to it. This is a redesigned Ampliphone high voltage, and you could connect this to it, or you could connect this to a standard Ampliphone, and this will take dual voltages also. So this if you really wanted to. Like mutilate your cabinet, you could stuff my goofy Ampliphone inside a Sega Vector. Any Sega Vector, it would work.
Right. But so we're talking Space Fury. We're talking Star Trek. We're talking.
It would also work in Ataris, like Quantum.
Quantum.
Yeah.
Nice.
Aztrack, which is the 6400.
Major Havoc.
Would run an Aztrack.
So everybody's on the shelf as track boards, because I know we all have extra ones on the shelf. We can now play them.
Yeah.
You just have to create your own Fresnel
there's a
lens.
guy-
Yeah.
There's a man by the name of Scott Swayze. He's making an FPGA to play Astrac as we speak. So I give him like my weekly phone call, like, please finish this.
Scott is another guy who is like just a genius with this stuff, and he's the one who did the Major Havoc Tempest board, which, for comparison, and I know some of the chatter. So first of all, Jason, just quickly, they're saying $150 is great. Some people are saying it's a steal. But so the Tempest Major Havoc FPGA board is like $750, but it's amazing. And that's one of Swayze's creations.
That just seems a little. Does that seem expensive? $750 to anybody else?
It seems. I actually got his very first prototype because I harassed him. like daily on the club.
Yeah.
And I got his first prototype, and his first prototype was meant to plug into a Major Havoc harness. So I have that plugged in my dedicated Major Havoc.
I've got a. You know what? I should put it on this one here, because he did a nice job with it. But it's if he gets that Astrac working, that's gonna be
As
wonderful.
of now, it does work, but there's no sound.
I mean, $750 is a lot cheaper than the games you pay for to, you know.
So pull up that high voltage section again, though, Jason. Now that you're coughing, like this is the things that like so.
This is actually it's just a 5x5 A-stable oscillator, and which controls a MOSFET that switches a 4600 flyback rather than the Amplifone flyback. And the reason I didn't go with Amplifone because Amplifone has the high voltage the focus block and the the little resistors or the pots on the side,
Yeah, I hate
and
that.
it's really not easy to source it.
I mean, it's just like, I mean, and the funny thing to me is Jason sits there and he's like, well, I just took this, did this, and I put these together. I mean, it's like, I can do that in the kitchen if I'm making like scrambled eggs, right? But past that, I took some pepper and I put it in here and then I added some salt and I had scrambled eggs. I mean, he's doing this with vector monitors, right? Things that half of us collecting these games can't even fix. And he's like, I just took a little of this, a little of that. We put it together on a board, and look, here's a high voltage section.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jason's adding avocado and truffle oil and stuff to his eggs.
I know.
And we're just basically having regular old eggs.
I can't even get the vector eggs to work half the time.
Here's something that I just posted on Facebook, and the same story. I said I don't have any money to buy the parts, so I'm going to buy those parts probably tonight, tomorrow, real soon. But these are pretty cool. Now, if you're familiar with the Wells Gardner 6100,
yep,
this is Wells Gardner 6100 replacement.
Deflection
and
board.
It also can run at SIGA voltages. So we'll see how that goes. I got to see if the first one works or not.
So that's that's the chassis, right?
I over a lot of stuff. Like, for example, this rectifier right here is like way bigger than you need. And I just wanted to oversize everything as much as possible. But
Sure.
this one, I happen to know right now, after some thinking, this is not going to work first try. Not the Cinematronics section, because I forgot about 2 wires that need to be swapped in the schematic, because the schematic for Cinematronics is wrong. But this one's kind of cool. What this will do is it's a black and white deflection board, and it will replace the 19V2000 and the Electro-Home. And it'll also run the 19V2000 high voltage, or the Electro-Home high voltage, or the Cinematronics Keltron high voltage box. And it also will take your inputs from a Cinematronics game. So in other words, if you want to, you can stick this in your black and white 19V2000 or whatever, and plug a Cinematronics game right up to it. That way you can run it. And it's a better circuit than the original Cinematronics,
Oh my gosh.
Like all 3 of our heads are exploding right now.
In a way, this whole stay-at-home thing is great because you can't get hit by a truck.
Well, and I think this is one of the things that, like, I mean, so one of the reasons why I wanted to try and help Jason get these projects done is because I keep seeing him talk about them, and it's like the stuff that comes out of his head is like, I talked to him on the phone, and I'm just like, holy shit. And he's like, oh, wait. And then there's this idea I had here, and I'm like, we got to get these going. I mean, if not for anything else, then like the community. I mean, this is stuff that it just, it's amazing.
How many guys in the chat need what Jason's laying down in some way or form? Do you need what piece do you need tonight? Because I mean, this is really interesting. There's a whole bunch of parts out there that need to be replaced, and we're obviously, Jason, you're obviously working on things that you needed yourself at some point. That's where it all comes out of self-servicing in some way. So like, what's this guy?
This is it's a board that lets you plug a modern DAC into a Cinematronics monitor. So you can those Burr Brown DAC chips that are in the Cinematronics monitors are kind of hard to find, and yeah, or when you do find them, they're like $25 or higher. But what this will do is it'll let me run like a little $1 DAC chip that's originally meant for VGA for colors. And
Brian's like, I want to buy those. We need to make those right now.
I wanted to do that because if I ever do, or whenever I do make these, they're going to need the old, 40-year-old Burr Brown chips. But so instead, let's make it something new that'll go in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
What are you smoking? American Spirit? I mean, what do we got there?
Camel menthols.
Camel menthols.
And I really shouldn't be. I know. And on top of that, I got a real bad sore throat, and I'm actually achy, like minor flu symptoms.
Oh no.
So Metropolis said he needs a Geo5 something to make his asteroids work without lightning. And Richard Ford wants to know if Jason wakes up in the middle of the night with an idea and writes it on a matchbook while taking a puff.
Oh my God. Hey, by the way, I want to say your Facebook video, or not your Facebook, your YouTube videos that you do are phenomenal.
Yes. I haven't on top of that for a while now.
I know you haven't, but still, like, if you want to go watch a Jason Kopp video, they're amazing. And your ability to, I think we should have a challenge right now. I want you to sketch a circuit on air of something. I don't care what it is. Just like the FU circuit for Adam Coyer, but or whatever it is. But something like that. But I think like whenever you do that on your show, you're like, let's draw this out, and boom, piece of paper. You just do it on the fly. It's better than a PowerPoint. It's way more personable. I love it. I just love that piece of your show. So.
Yeah, I haven't been on top of it, and I kind of feel bad. I need to. I actually have Patreon guys. They're giving me like $100 a month, which isn't much, but that's still really cool, right?
That's
Thank
awesome.
you very much. And since I haven't done many videos lately, I feel like a piece of crap. But I will. Honestly, the longer I go without making a video, the more I can't think of what to make a video about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know how to start another video.
Well, you know what you do is you take all the suggestions for the boards you want to make. So, like how to make an APB triac board, for example.
I know. I will.
No, I'm serious.
Adam, by the way, Adam wanted that board. It's really super easy, but I just have. It's like a 15-minute job. I'll do it sooner.
But I'm not worried about that. But what would be cool is if you could like explain how that works, because to me that's like an easy thing for a viewer to understand. Like power comes in here, these little triacs. This is how a triac works. It's like a diode, but it's not. And then it blinks and it makes the lights flash. And like I think you explaining that would be much better than how I just did it.
Well, rather than a triac, the board that I made uses a solid state relay, which actually has a triac inside it.
Okay.
But they actually make these little chips now where you get 5 volts to one pin and it turns on an AC. And I wanted to go that route because you mentioned you want to put LEDs, and triacs need some sort of current to turn on.
Yeah.
So it'd be better for the solid state relay instead.
Yeah. So
or you could go with mechanical relay too if you wanted.
So I haven't asked anybody if they put in LED lights, and so the problem is that LED bulbs, when you buy them, they have a diode in them. So they don't operate the same way that an incandescent does, and they often have a delay when you turn them on. So if you just put LEDs, LED bulbs into your APB, you're going to have the triac that's supposed to drive that, I don't think can drive it.
It may not be able to, because you need to have some sort of current.
Yeah, and I think you'll see that you might see it flash, but it won't be the same, or it might not flash at all. So, but that's why I asked you about that piece, because I'm like, well, I know there's diodes and bulbs, so I'm like half smart. I know that certain things work certain ways, and I just know that I need someone smarter than me to make the part. So, it's kind of like, I don't know. We're all kind of like car guys, We want to soup up our cars. We want our cars to look nice. Some of us are better at doing the exterior work, or maybe reupholstering, and then some of us are better at driving the cars. And then there's the guys that are like, I know how to get all of the interior lighting in your car not to burn down your car.
So I just got a text from Jeff from Barcade saying that he's watching the show, playing poker with a bunch of guys from MN. So thanks, Jeff.
Jeff, man, thanks. Thanks for that centipede, by the way. Centipede Cabaret. He doesn't know, but he bought a domain name for me a while ago. And
so Jason, what's next on the horizon here? I mean, your mind is constantly going on.
Grab that. Hold on. My wife's just right outside.
Your co-ruler is there.
Co-ruler. This is the first Vectrex prototype, and I actually finally got it to run. There was a couple screw ups I did. For example, one of these diodes was backwards, and which is the part of the bridge that brings your voltage in. And also I found out that the DAC chip I wanted to use, it needed a 5-volt pin, even though the original DAC did not use a 5-volt pin. So anyways, sooner or later, I'm in no hurry. I know it sounds bad, but I kind of am satisfied that, okay, this works now. But I need to
So is that like
more, so they can be sold? But eventually, I need a funny fault.
Is that like the original Vectrex where it has the built-in game?
Yeah, well, yes, it does have the built-in game. But what this does is it can plug into an Asteroids harness, and it has a circuitry to flip the image, and it also has a vector correction circuit, because the op amp that powers a Vectrex deflection board has internal capacitance, and so I have to emulate the internal capacitance to display correctly on a more linear Asteroids monitor.
Is anybody else making the same stupid face I am right now?
I'm like, dude, I want that.
So Jason,
oh my God.
Does it play the games in a horizontal format? Because Vectrex is vertical, right? Does it rotate?
Yeah, it does play. Matter of fact, let me show you something.
Oh boy.
It does play. It does play it in a horizontal format. Right now, looking at a Vectrex playing Major Havoc, and right there's the Vectrex over here, and that's running my color board. It actually looks good stretched out horizontally. As funny as it may sound, it looks great. It looks as if it was intended to be. So I mean, I know some games we are stretched out, but vector games kind of are pretty forgiving that way,
So we need the freaking three-way switcher, because we need the Asteroid.
I know, I was just gonna say that.
Vectron, and now we need the damn Vectrex in our Asteroids cabinet. Thank you. All right.
I'm ready to paint an Asteroids cabinet all black, and put this board in it, and then always leave it like that. So, whenever you say.
I'll design some Vectrex artwork for the side.
Thank you. Yeah, I want a big plastic sheet that goes over the monitor. That'd be awesome.
Well, Tom Dunk, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He made a Vectrex cabinet. He actually used my schematic to make the monitor display properly and all that.
Wow.
Actually, this is my early schematic where I hacked the monitor instead of make a circuit in the middle. But he has a really cool Vectrex cabinet that he has every single Vectrex overlay on a roll, and he has a Raspberry Pi or Arduino, one or the other, that once you select the game, the Vect Fever will put out in binary which overlay you need. So let's say you want to select Star Castle. It'll roll out until it selects Star Castle on the screen. The overlay. It's pretty cool.
So like 3 years ago, he was at the Iowa auction, and we were going around the auction. This is not early on with me doing games, but like I was back where I was like buying all the crap I could. Now I've gotten a little bit more selective, and there was an Omega Race cabinet at the end of the auction. And I'm looking at it like, oh, I've got an Omega Race. I could use the parts from this one. I'm like kind of like eyeing it. And he walks over and he tells me the project he's gonna do. I'm like, I can't. I go.
Yeah.
It's just I can't even justify bidding on that to like shove that in a corner and pull parts off it when you're gonna like make some awesome thing. And I just walked away from it. I'm like, all right, there we go. But yeah, that cabinet, he had that at MGC 2 years ago, didn't he? It was the same year you had the color Vectrex, wasn't it?
You know, there's a funny story to that. And before I tell you this story, I want to tell you that Tom Dunk is a friend of mine, and I don't mean any ill intentions to him in any way. But someone, a couple people on Facebook sent me a message that it said, "Oh, hey, Tom says that he invented the Vectrex mod or whatever. He says you better look into that." I was like, "What?" So I said, I'm not worried about it. And then someone said later on, he says, "Hey, Tom said he's unveiling the first Vectrex arcade machine." I'm like, "What?" So I didn't know Tom yet, and I'm like, "Well, that kind of ticks me off a little bit." And so I said, "You know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the first color Vectrex arcade machine. I'm going to slap it right next to his damn machine when we go to the show." And so, believe it or not, this was a day before Midwest Gaming Classic. And so I hurried up and I made a little proto board. It looks like garbage. It's still in my game right now. It's a hairy pubic hair wire mess of circuit board. And I made the first Vectrex, color board. And I put it next to it. But anyways, Tom ended up being a really cool guy. He had he wasn't trying to steal my thunder or anything like that. But yeah, so I was like hurried up and I tried to make something a little bit better if I could, just for the show, know.
Thump my chest.
Okay, what else do you have in that pile of stuff over there that you haven't shown us yet?
Like any aborted projects that you're like, oh, I should have done that?
Well, I mean,
your wife laughed.
I made these and they didn't work, but I know what's wrong. I need to go back to it. And
what are those?
Correct. This is the Bally Midway YUV to RGB PCB. Oh yeah, there we go. This replaces this. Now this has the original board has 270 nanosecond delay coils. And I made the delay digitally on here, so you don't have to have some stupid coils. And then I found out you really don't need the delay if you do something in a different manner. So, anyways, this doesn't work, but I know what to do. And I don't know, maybe I'll finish it, maybe I won't. I don't know.
So, what would you find that in, like a Pac-Man or a?
That would be inside
Galaga,
Gorf, Wizard of War.
Wizard of War. Right.
The 6 board sets, or what are they?
Roto has it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the project that you are most proud of that you stole from Spaith? Is everything stolen from Spaith?
Because Spaith, Mark Spaith has it. Anyways, I made a Bally Midway. Oh, this pissed him off because apparently he did it back in 2012 or something. I didn't know. Whatever. I just wanted to make something I wanted.
He did that in like the 90s or the 80s. I mean, and by the way, like I will say, little disclaimer quickly. Spaith really is a brilliant guy. And
yes,
that's one thing. Number two is I don't think I could piss him off anymore, so I'm really not having a problem with it.
Spaith, he takes on some very large projects that I don't have the attention span to take on. I mean, he's reproducing entire boards, and he's even taking the time to re-engineer them and like lower the chip count and so on. And I have a lot of respect for Spaith, but Spaith hates my fucking guts.
Get in line. Just get in line.
I don't know. Whatever did to the guy. But, yeah.
You know what? I want to say something about this right now because I love the fact that everybody in the community, not everybody, but let's just say that a number of us in the community try to respect each other's projects. So let's say, for example, Dave Dokert's making Defender harnesses. There's not like 10 other guys trying to make Defender harnesses. That same thing goes for certain technologies and boards that are available today, high score save kits and things like that. Braze kits are fantastic. There are very few outlets for those now. We have a plethora of other generic style arcade parts that could be being made by multiple outlets that people try to respect whoever's making them. But like to me, a Williams interface board, for example, I don't give a shit who makes that. I don't care if you are the guy that thinks you are the god who remade that board. I don't care. It's a generic part. If 10 people want to make it, that's called competition. That's goddamn America, motherfuckers. So
no, it's America.
I'm just saying,
America.
like, I want competition in the workplace, and I think it's okay for people to stomp on each other's feet once in a while, without ill intent, right? You're not like going after these people to try and put them out of business. And for God's sakes, you're making a part that you didn't even design. So I'm just saying, hear me out, Brian. So Jason comes along and reinvents a part, that's a whole different story. Yeah. If somebody steals his schematic, that's a whole different story. So I love the fact that there's competition. I would love to see more people innovating. You are doing something unique, and I love that. So keep it up, is what I'm trying to say. So
one of the things, and for those of you in the chat who aren't familiar with Mark has this tendency to jump into almost every inventive thread. And the funny thing is he's not lying that he did it, but he did tons of these projects, invented the stuff, may have talked about it a little bit, but like 99% of it's sitting on a shelf and has never gotten out into the world. And so that's why, talking to Jason is like, has his YouTube channel. He talks about stuff. He draws the circuits. He presents the stuff on Facebook. So even though not all of the stuff is getting all the way down the pipeline, one of the things that's happening is these ideas are seeding the community and getting out there, and people are excited about it. And that's huge. And Gus Scott said, or not making any more.
Right.
And that is something that Spaeth does. And that's, and so Jason is creating kind of an environment that is more welcoming and engaging with the community. And I think that that's an amazing thing. He's bringing all of these ideas to people. They're able to see them and understand them, even if they can't do them. And it's exciting. And we want people excited about our stuff because that's how it sticks around.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you look at car manufacturer, or let's just say car collecting again, right? So there's got to be like 2 or 3 people that make bumpers, for a variety of different vehicles. It's a generic part. It's a part that was already made and designed by somebody else. Somebody's copying it, making it great, and I have the same problem with people that reproduce manuals for jukeboxes, for example, when you fucking need them,
Hey, so let me just interject quickly. So I have a DeLorean, and there's about 2 or 3, groups that make replica parts or replacements, and they all hate each other. But that actually sort of creates a very competitive environment.
Yep.
And occasionally they may get together and be nice and stuff like that. But because that is sort of, that competitive fierceness is there, I end up getting like a lot of cool things that I can use at decent prices as well. But,
that's perfect.
So for every Mark Spaeth, maybe we all need a Mark Spaeth out there for that kind of thing.
I think that's right. But I think, Jason, the message here from all 3 of us is you need to remain vigilant in your projects because obviously you're rethinking things, and regardless of whether or not somebody made that before, you're making it better, hopefully, or making an alternative. And that's completely different.
The better could just be that you're getting it out to people and showing it to them.
Sure.
Right.
So I mean, Mark will say over and over, and there are other people who do this too, so I shouldn't just pick on Mark. Well, I did this or I did that, and yeah, okay, you did, but where is it? And you're getting people talking. I mean, look at any one of your posts on Facebook. Holy shit! I mean, people are just flocking. When you post something you've done, people are energized, and that is something that very few people in this hobby can say. That when they put a post up, other people are energized at what they're doing. So, hats off to you, man.
Yes. Hats. I'm taking my Making Arcades Fun Again hat off to you.
They're much more complicated things. Everything that I've done so far is just taking the easy route and doing something simple. There are projects that take people several years that, and I don't have an attention span to do something big. But there are, what I do is actually nothing impressive. You know what I mean? There are people that can do, for example, Mark Spaeth. He knows more than he probably forgot more than I'll ever know. And, I don't want to, even though he hates me, I don't want to cut him down too much.
No. We shouldn't. We should never do that. You should never do that. I mean,
Mark Spaeth. Good job, Mark Spaeth.
So, John. But I mean, you got to remember, like, these little ideas. I mean, simple things we take for granted now, like stupid thing. And I said this to you the other day. The guy that invented the paperclip, right, changed how we do things with putting stacks of paper together. It's a simple, obvious idea after you do it, but nobody did it before. Mm-hmm. And so you should not discount what you're doing and how you're contributing, because you are seeing things that are not obvious to 99.9% of the people in this community. Mm-hmm. Mark, Clay, maybe Dave Okert, some of these guys that are really, and there's a few guys in the background. There's a guy, Steve Applegarth, who's done some amazing vector stuff. There are people in the background who could do what you're doing, but they're not doing it.
No.
And that's the key, right? You're out here sharing this knowledge and this understanding with us. And that in and of itself is a gift. So I think, you significantly underestimate your effect and what you bring to the community. So.
Well, and so that's enough ego stroking for the last 5 minutes.
You can stay modest as long as you want.
By the way, I want to just thank a few people in the chat for joining us tonight. Daniel Watkins, Richard Ford, I see Robert McCraft, and did I say Daniel Watkins? There's a bunch of new guys. I just wanted to say their names. Mean Streak, thanks for joining us tonight. Yes, so, Jason, I like it.
Mean Streak, that is Jason Wheeler. What's going on, Jason Wheeler?
Sweet, awesome. It's good to have these guys in the chat. We're gonna and Austin St. Paul. I love it. So, hey, Jason, stick around after the show because we'd love to wind up with you a bit. But I love to ask this of people that invent and the people that are trying to make projects. And you have your struggles, you have your wins. But what advice would you have for any of the chatters before we sign off tonight?
I don't know.
That's a good answer. That's a great answer.
Keep your head down.
What would you want?
You know what? It's and not to sound like a smart ass or nothing, but I always tell myself and try to tell other people that don't believe what is common knowledge and test it for yourself. Even though everyone told you that this can only be done a certain way, try a different method and see if everyone else is wrong. You know what I mean? That's a bad way to word it, but
no, that's a perfect way to word it. Yeah.
Stick your finger into that anode. What the hell?
Exactly.
I got zapped by one the other day. Holy shit!
Oh my god, they're painful. You should, what you need is a high voltage probe about this long, and you could just go like this with the glove on.
Wait, no, it's the John Jacobson one with like the broom handle across the room where you're like.
I was trying to be more subtle, but yeah.
It was the big screwdriver. It's
all right. So
the screwdriver that you got for free, but you're like, I'm never using this.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just say thanks, chatters, for listening in tonight. This has been the Double R's. That's Arcade Radio.
Like us at Facebook at Arcade Radio, or check us out on the semi-regularly updated blog at RcadeRadio.com. That's RcadeRadio.com.
And wait for me to bring up...
It wasn't me this week.
Oh, wait, it's coming up. Why? I did this. Call and leave comments and questions on the game line. 612-548-GAME-4263. We know you really won't ever do it, but, what the hell?
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you'll know when we're streaming live, because it's important to know this.
Yes. You can also subscribe to our podcast on Anchor FM, to iTunes, Google Play, Music, Apple Music, and wherever podcasts are streamed.
I suppose since I have all this extra time, I should probably put a few up. We're only like 20 episodes behind. So that's going to be it for the show. From the Arcade Radio team, we hope you had a great time, and we will see you on the next episode, which is next week, by the way. And we're just going to keep cranking. We're going to keep cranking them. We're going to keep cranking them.
We're going to hit 50 episodes.
Well, this will be crazy. I mean... All right, well, here we go. Let's take our pants off.